Hello and welcome to Aliens Dark Descent. I'm Shadowcoast and welcome to the channel. In this video we are going to review basic commands or controls playing on PC using mouse and keyboard. Without further ado, let's jump in and review
You
basic
looking for a nice
commands or
spot for a picnic
controls
or
of
what?
this game. To begin with, to rotate the camera we can use Q and E to rotate it around. WASD is going to move us around the map left, right, up, and down respectively based off which one you push. So W up, S down, D left, S or A right.
I think we're
To zoom
spotted.
in, we'll use the mouse key. We're going to zoom in at times when you want to see things.
Let's do
To
what we came
slow
for and get the
time,
hell out of
we
here.
click spacebar. This is really helpful. Now, one thing we can do is if we go into options and we go over to gameplay, we can pause game off or on. So if we put pause game on over here in the gameplay menu, so I click escape options gameplay. If we put pause game on, what will happen is instead of slow motion, this will completely pause time. You see up here, we have pause time. I personally prefer just given the playstyle to keep it on slow, but if there's a very difficult level or you need time to think on what you want to do, feel free to put this on to pause time. So that is spacebar will slow time or pause time depending on your gameplay settings. This is absolutely critical. It will allow you to make decisions. It will also open up the command wheel. The command wheel here is when you click spacebar, you have different moves. So at the beginning of the game, you should have shotgun blast, grenade launcher, flare, which gives plus accuracy, suppressive fire, which is important and will slow enemies, deployable motion tracker. So these are great to put on hives or hive locations to see what's coming out. When you're in a pinch, you can use tactical analysis. So this will instantly add 2 command points. Um, and then finally, again, if you're in a pinch, you can use retribution. So these things will have longer cooldowns. Tactical analysis does require you to have at least one tool, so you are using your tools to hit it. So just keep that in mind that these are expendable resources. Retribution will take kind of a cooldown before you can use it again. So that is spacebar, and then if you click 1, 2, Z, X, C, B, V on your keyboard, that will trigger these different options for you to use. So if you're in the heat of battle and you want to tee them up very quickly, you can do that. Alright, some other useful commands. So if you
Come
right
on, team.
click, your squad will move. If you double
Hurry
right
up, you
click, so you
scrubs.
tap right button twice very quickly, that will have them run to a location. Left button is interact. So when you have something and you click left button, sometimes you will have something pop up. So in this case, we can break weld. We welded ourselves in to recover stress,
They're headed
which
our
is a
way.
key mechanic. So keep that in mind. So left click will open up options, interact with different things. So that is how you interact
On it.
or potentially loot bodies. So we'll do that here. I'll kind of loot this body by left clicking on it because it shows up in blue. And then when you're looting bodies, sometimes you have the option of
They're
gaining
trying to breach
resources.
in.
In this case, we have a tool. Now, some other key things to keep in mind when you're right clicking, when you see the green, this
Come on,
means that
team.
they can gain cover. However, to fully realize cover, you have to click
They're headed our
control.
way.
So control is effectively allows us to crouch. Now, this is really critical because when we engage enemies, we use our weapons, it makes sounds, more aliens or baddies come. So it'll be important to use stealth as part of this game to be successful. We don't always need to kill everyone because we can't. We'll run out of ammo, we'll get overrun, we'll take injuries, lose Marines. So make sure that you use cover, so that is the green here that you
You
can
looking for a
see,
nice
and
spot
then
for a
click
picnic or
C.
what?
So C is basically crouch or hide, so you can hide behind objects, which makes you harder to be seen, in some cases completely invisible to the enemy depending on their sight lines. So keep that in mind. A few other things to note. M
More
opens up the
signals
map.
incoming.
You're going to be opening the map up a fair amount of the game just to see how to get to different objectives from that perspective.
Last support
The
required.
other thing we
Hang
can
on.
do
Our
here
ride is coming.
is left click on ARC and our ARC will automatically redeploy. So right now I just had him redeploy over here. I think I'm going to exit. I'm going to come over here and then
Let's
run
do
to
what we
the
came for and
APC
get the hell out of here.
to kind of recover. Obviously, if you click escape, this will open up your different options. I think we covered that before where you can load the game. Now, saves are automatically done, so you will have auto saves. So keep that in mind. So I left click. Now, also, we can uncover cameras and other items throughout our journeys. So if we kind of left click on them, that will open up options so we can see kind of what's here. We have different supply stashes that we can receive and some other items.
We
Now,
didn't
let
come here to
me
enjoy the
think
view, so
about
move
this.
now.
You can left click on these, on the brief, etc. on the map, which is really important. Up here, when you have M open, you can kind of left click on squad recap. You can see the different squad members here, what they have, if they're wounded, if they have different traits that are hurting them. You can also see kind of their weapon layout. We have a bunch of pulse rifles, which are nice. Then you can see their upgraded slots. Right now, we don't have any upgraded slots. And finally, the codex is very helpful. Highly recommend you check out the codex. You can see different key things. Here, you can kind of use assistant to see different things, and this will give you advice on how to play. Finally, the best way to see all your controls, I probably should have started with this. If you click exit, go to options, go over to controls, you can see all your controls here. So cancel order is F, reload is R. Reload is really important. One thing that I cannot impress upon you enough is the home button. This will bring you back to your squad as outlined in the options, so keep that in mind. I use that all the time. Can't believe I didn't mention that. Spacebar is the skill menu, so that'll slow time or pause time. You can freely rotate your camera using the mouse button. Map is M, left control hide, left alt is combat data. So left alt can be helpful. Um, if in the situation where you're in combat, you want to see some more information um, on somebody, you can do that. So keep that in mind. If we left click, left alt will also open up different options that we can use on our group. One thing that I will say is when you click on a squad member, so let's say we have the tactical thing. So when we click on a squad member, left clicking on a squad member, we have different things that we can do where we can swap weapon. I always recommend you have your primary weapon unless you run out of ammo. You can use Napro Relieve, which will reduce stress, which is really important.
Let's do what we
So you
came
have
for
little
and get
kind
the
of
hell out of
steps
here.
of stress if you're at 3 or 2. Highly recommend you pop this. It will use a medical supply, so make sure you have those in stock. I'm trying to think. Left mouse button over here will open your codex as you see stuff, map. Let's go back here and see if I missed anything obvious. We want to make this as comprehensive as possible to help you in your playthrough. Open Datapad J, Shotgun Blast 1, 2, 3. So we already saw those. We're going to gain different options to use later on. We don't have all of these unlocked yet. And that's about it. I think that we can, um, call this. The one thing too is I
Move
guess when
on!
you're moving, you can technically tab between squad members. I haven't actually seen that as a thing. I'm only a couple hours into the game, so maybe something else unlocks or there's some different type of thing, or we can split the squad maybe later. I'm not sure.
Double
But
time!
tab is technically switching between squad members. I actually think it might be more applicable up here. Squad recap. Nope, tab does not work. So I'm not sure what that does in combat, but it should do something. Hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, please drop a thumbs up, and I hope to see you in future videos. Shadow Coast out.